Hi guys, Helen the Russian here, and behind me my lovely Annie the mannequin wearing Zara dress and Zara necklace. If you wondering, it is available for sale in my eBay store. The link is on the bottom. All very reasonably priced. As you well aware, Valentine's Day is fast approaching, so ladies would like to look fantastic, and I'm sure gentlemen would like to buy them something nice. Which is, speaking of which, quite seriously, came across that yesterday driving around. There was a group of guys I picked up, I can't remember, one of the strip hotels, I think Vidara, and they were going to Fashion Show Mall, and they were telling me how they going there. The specific purpose is to buy their wives gifts for Valentine's Day, and they were thinking not just gifts for themselves, you know what I mean? Like, they were not thinking lingerie, they were talking about shoes and dresses. One made mention of Louboutins, and I told him, I said, yeah, you're gonna score a lot of brownie points on that front. Anyhow, just a couple of items that seem to be popping up around Las Vegas. As you're well aware, a few hotels are doing remodeling. The biggest one is Monte Carlo. They're doing complete overhaul. I think it's going to be a total brand change altogether, but in the meantime, they're doing massive remodels. So the rideshare, they moved, there was a notice about that on Uber, I saw that. But I was thinking about where that was. So they call it North Valley. Quite frankly, I'm not even sure this North Valley was there before they started remodeling. I think it was just a back door. But basically the way you go, I'm sure those of you who haven't been, just go in the way you would go like you did before for the rideshare, except instead of turning, which you would normally turn right into that area that they had the rideshare, just keep on going past the entrance to the parking garage on the left, past that, and keep on going, and the road will veer to the right. You won't be able to do forward anymore, and then when you go there, you'll see the sign for the rideshare, and it appears to be a small valet now, but I'm assuming that's because the valet is not available up front. Like I said, I think it's a makeshift deal, but that's what it is. And the reason I'm talking about it is because I dropped off people in there, and I picked up a guy, and he said he had trouble with his driver previously finding exactly where it was. Driver couldn't find him, he couldn't find the driver, and he ended up paying, of course, cancellation fee because the driver left after 5 minutes, and obviously he was none too pleased, but he understood why that is. He felt it was hotel's fault. See, good passengers, they understand what's going on. He said, I can't really blame the driver, it was quite unclear what's going on. So there is that. Hard Rock, not sure what they're doing, but they're doing some remodeling to their front lot, and that would be southeast corner, meaning you can no longer get in there from Paradise, not to the front. And the only way to get there is from Harmon, and it tends to become a bottleneck even when it's not busy, because it's just narrow lane to go in and out, and of course taxi cabs are ranking, and it's really hard, and in my opinion it's a waste of time to even try to drop off in there. We know the pickup is not there, pickup is in the garage, but what I personally have been doing, I haven't had that many rides there, but what I have been doing, and people were quite grateful, because I would drive by and they could see what's going on. So I said, look, let me do a back way and it'll be faster for everybody. So I go onto Paradise, go into the garage, and actually go to the first floor and drop them off by the elevators. Just tell them, hey, take the elevator and you there, which is true. And people have been appreciating, because I saw some tips after those rides, and you know, the rating obviously, you know, stays up, so it's all good. It's a nice and fast way to do it. Parking is still free in the Hard Rock, but even if it wasn't, you know, all of those hotels who they do charge for parking, first hour is free. So, you know, it does not apply to Hard Rock, but just the other day I made a mistake coming from north. I was driving south on the strip, driving these people to Wynn, and I turned left one turn too early, meaning I ended up in the garage. Well, you know, it wasn't a big deal. I took a ticket, I took people straight to the elevator, I said, hey, you're already inside, there you go, just take the elevator. They were quite happy, and then I went right out, and it immediately let me out. I didn't have to pay for it. So it's a quick way. If you make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal. You can still complete the ride, make people happy, and get out of there without wasting much time, because that's all it's about, not wasting time. Now, speaking of all this remodeling changes and the valets, we announced, and again I saw that on Uber update, that we now can pick up and drop off at Wynn main entrance. I'm not sure, like I never knew it was not available before, but I never had a ride request at the front entrance either, so don't know, can't tell. All the ride requests I ever got before from Wynn were Southgate. So, pay attention, this was interesting. I always assess the situation as it unfolds in terms of what I say, how I interact with people, any people, doesn't really matter, in rideshare, in my own business. So I was dropping these guys off at the Wynn front entrance, and as you're well aware, quite a few hotels, Palazzo being one example, when you drop off, they let you come to the lane that's closest to the door and drop off. That's a legit way to do it. That's what they want us to do. Well, I did it at the Wynn, and even as the guy, my passengers were getting out of the car, valet was coming in to me going, and I really quickly, I thought about it, and I thought, no, we just play it cool, and I said, oh, he goes, you cannot go here, you need to go, and he points to the lane that furthest away, meaning when you approach, it's a through traffic lane, that's where you need to be dropping off and picking up. And I said, look, I'm really sorry, I apologize, I didn't realize, like I played it really, really down low. And then really quickly I realized I did the right thing, because he goes, it's okay, I'm not angry, it's all right, just for the next time. I said, I will. He goes, the reason being, and that's I knew I would have been in trouble if I was not nice. He says, it's a valet lane, and we often take our times with cars. He says, you can get trapped in here. And in fact, at that time, I was already trapped because people, the guests left their cars and valets haven't moved them. And they were all sitting one lane left to me, meaning I couldn't get out. And he said, you know, one Uber was trapped in here for 20 minutes yesterday. And I'm guessing it was deliberate because, you know, valets can do that. They actually can. So be aware of that. And very shortly, another valet came and moved the front car so I can get away. But I definitely thought it had to do with the fact that I was really contrite and nice and polite. Having said that, valets, as you well aware, not all of them nice, some of them mean, and some of them mean without any reason. And the next day, or the day, I can't remember, some other day, I was picking up passengers at Planet Hollywood. As you all know, it's a mission. I honestly don't like going there. Getting there, getting out. I used to try to use Audrey Street as much as I can. And so I did it on that occasion. And as you know, there is that ride share right where the tour bus is. Well, the bus is very often sitting, like it's the divider with the benches where the people are waiting for you or where you drop them off. Well, the buses are very often on the north side of that divide, so I always came from the south side. Well, this was, I think, Monday, maybe Monday it was. So I'm pulling from Audrey Street, I'm pulling directly, it's a direct straight shot right there, so I'm pulling right in, and these guys, two guys, I can see it's my passengers, and they're waving to me, so I know it's my passengers. Two guys, they standing right there on the south side of the divider, on the edge, facing me, ready to get in the car. So I pull up and they get in the car immediately, and here is this big valet coming. I don't know if he was valet security. I'm assuming security, there is no valet in there. He goes, for the future, try to go on the other side. I go, I will. He was trying to pick your guests. I quite like that, your guests. They clearly were guests of the hotel, so his guests technically. I go, I will, if they stand on that side, looking that way. And he gave me this incredulous look. It was a really nasty look. And I'm like, I didn't get into it with him, but that one was pure and simple power trip. Like he was power tripping. He saw a woman and he's like, oh, well, I'll show you who is the boss. Because quite frankly, these people were standing on this side waiting for me. And if he really wanted to enforce those rules, he was there. He saw them before I arrived. He could have said, hey guys, actually rideshare is on the other side. Do you mind just, you know, turning around, waiting for her in there? And that would have been fine. And then I would be looking for them and pulling in. Well, he didn't want to confront those two guys, but he was quite happy to confront me. I was like, no, not going on the power trip like that. And then the guys were laughing themselves. We had a really nice chat and good laugh about it. I'm not gonna say on YouTube what we say. It wasn't mean, but it was correct psychological assessment of what went on. And actually the passenger suggested that, and I agreed with him that that's exactly what it was. So that's that. So with valets, like I said, assess the situation, like see how it is. I would not, like my suggestion, don't let everyone just walk all over you, because it ultimately it affects you. It affects your mental state, and that will reflect on how you interact with passengers. That will affect your possible tips. So sometimes it's good to just be contrite and let things go and be super polite, and sometimes just stand. I don't say don't be nasty, but definitely stand your ground. If they're changing the rules, or if there are some kind of specific guidelines, they need officially let Uber and Lyft know. Not harass the drivers, no, but let Uber and Lyft will issue an update, and then we'll have to comply with these rules. Speaking of updates, which we all knew those rules, but for some reason Lyft gave an update today reminding us, and I'm assuming that's because some people got, more than one, I'm assuming, got tickets for that. So kids, little kids, they have to have car seat. And they actually, Lyft was very nice because they gave the link to all the states. So check your state in that. But Nevada specifies child under 6 years old, and I think there is a waiting list. Sorry, I didn't look at it, but hang on, let me see if I can look up that weight limit. But those children, they must be in the car seat. No, not this Lyft driver. There we go, sorry. Right, updates, here we go. Keep kids safe from Lyft. It says car seats are required for small children, and kids 17 and under aren't allowed to ride alone, which I don't get hardly any of it, but a couple of times I did have school kids, and I felt a bit worried about. So it says check your state law, and we're clicking on the link here, child passenger safety. Let's go to Nevada. What does Nevada has to offer us? Nevada, children under age 6 and who weigh less than 60 pounds, at 60 pounds, must be secured in a child passenger restraint system. Violation of the child restraint law is a standard offense, meaning it's a ticketed offense. So you're gonna get a ticket, they're gonna get nothing. So I'd say, yes, stick with it, because especially during Christmas holidays, I did have a couple of situations with little kids. And I confess I took them, but those were really short rides. And yeah, in the future, I'm telling you, I won't be taking these chances. Just like with alcohol, it's just not worth it. Speaking of which, yesterday I come out of the fashion show mall. It was really windy yesterday, so I went to do my walking like I do every day in the fashion show mall instead of out around my neighborhood. And that minivan pulled up, and I'm assuming he was a rideshare because he had a stencil on both sides of his car saying no smoking, no alcohol, and something else was just kind of stencil, which, good on him. We all do what we feel we need to do. Personally, from psychological viewpoint, I'm just saying quite a few people might perceive that, because that's the first thing they see on the side, as what they call bitchy message, and it will put everything on the wrong foot before they even get in the car. They will already not like the driver. Having said that, and I've said it in previous videos, I'm absolutely adamant about no alcohol. Not once people ask to smoke, but I can tell you the answer is absolutely no. That just won't be happening. No vaping, no smoking. And now with them reminding, like I said, the reason Lyft reminded us, I'm guessing there were quite a few tickets issued, so I'd be very careful with that one. Apart from that, things are, the weather is nice again. We have 3 big conventions in town, which keeping things busy. But I must say, Monday, I have, the other days, like I drove a bit yesterday and a bit day before, and it was fine. But Monday, was just a cheapskate day. I don't know what it was. I had 11 rides, all of them on Uber, by the way. The Lyft, I wasn't getting any rides on Lyft. I had it on, but I wasn't getting any. But on Uber, 11 rides. Out of 11 rides, only one, count him, one person gave me a tip, and that would be a person I absolutely least expected it from. I ended up on a really long run on the west side, and as I finished that ride, I got this ride request from this guy, and he was Uber pool. So, you know, like a lot of people will say, oh yeah, you know, so I picked him up, and I certainly didn't expect any tip from him, and he was going locally from Vitamin Shop. He was going to his house. And as it so happens that we didn't have any passengers join us, but yeah, imagine my surprise. I pull out and I look like a little bit later, and he left me $3. While no one else did. And those were all good rides though. We had fantastic chats with people, we had good laughs. People will say, oh man, you're the best Uber driver, especially those couple of guys we had really interesting chat with. There was a guy, now that one kind of I have to say, people like that, I one day they realize how they come across. I pick them up at the Hilton Vacation Suites on the Strip, you know, the big multi-story building. So I pick him up. He's going to MGM, and he tells me, he gets on the front seat, he volunteers, he says, oh, I'm going to dinner at this Italian restaurant, and then we start talking about food and wine pairings, and we're really into it. He's checking the menu on his phone, he showed me, he goes, oh, check it out. I go, yeah, I would have that. So he agrees with me about like certain things, the way we would order food, and he goes, this looks pricey, but hey, I'm not paying for it, you know, this. So he already told me he's gonna have a very nice free meal. We had this fantastic conversation. He thanked me profusely. I do believe he gave me 5-star because, you know, on Uber you can check your rating straight away, and it pumps, you know, gives you one more as far as number of 5-star rides. And then he did tip. I'm like, anyhow, but that was just that one day. Like Wednesday went back to normal, and then yesterday was fine. You know, people were tipping. Not everybody, but you know, I got $5, $3, another $3, whatnot. So this is what's been going on. I hope everyone's doing well and none of you got that nasty flu that's going around. Stay safe, wash your hands a lot, take the vitamins, you know, don't get that. That sounds nasty. Have a nice day, everybody.